Hey, hi everybody out there. Welcome to Acting from All Angles. We are going to be talking about type today. What type of actor are you and how to crack that code. But first, let me introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Julianne Lichty, and I am the creator of Actors in Action Professional Acting Conservatory, where we train actors to have their own fail-proof process so that they can rock any audition, any callback, or any booking. And yay, we've got Meryl there. Hey, Meryl, good to see you. So yeah, I'm really excited about today's topic that we're going to be talking about, which is type. So you hear that a lot in acting. You hear, what type are you, and how do you market yourself so you can be presentable in a certain way that works really well for you and that is really easy for agents and for casting directors and to market you and to perceive you. So let's just talk about what exactly type is. So type is, what type of person do you read as just yourself for a character? What kind of role would you be perfect for? All right. And the reason it's important for us to find this out, especially when you're breaking into acting, is you want to be able to market yourself towards certain things that you're very castable as, right? You don't want to, if you're a tall athlete, you don't want to audition for somebody who's like a little mousy person, because you're probably not going to get booked for that. So we got to figure out what type we are. Okay, and it may seem a little daunting. You're kind of like, I don't know how to figure out my type. So I'm here to help you with that. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you, as promised, the 5 different criteria that agents and casting directors look for type. And it's really mostly casting directors that look for this, because they have to be super specific about what they're casting. Now, certainly an agent will think, oh, you know, I need more ingenues, which are young leading ladies. So they'll be looking for that. Or I need more jock types. So they'll be looking for that to fill up their stables. Okay, but casting directors, they're like, I've got to bring in somebody who's going to fit this role, which is a blonde, bimbo, airhead with a heart. So they need somebody like that. Okay, so the 5 criteria for finding type is: 1, your sex. What sex are you? Are you male or female? I'm not exactly sure how this transfers to transgender exactly, but you know, there's a lot of people that identify as male or female. But just think of that in general. How do you identify, or what's your sex? What's your playable age range? Okay, not how old you are. Some of us play a lot younger than we look. Some of us play older than we look. And generally, it's going to be a 5 to 10 year ratio of what you play. All right, with type, with age range. So, and be honest. If you're starting to age, or if you say you're 16 and you're like, I can play 25, but you only look like 16, it's not going to work, or vice versa. Okay, so what's your playable age range? What are your physical attributes? All right, so this would be your physicality, your height, your race, your body type, your skin color. Are you short? Are you tall? Are you fat? Are you thin? Do you have a really pronounced nose? Do you have super beautiful fine features? You know, what are you physically like? Okay, and then so you need to figure that out. And then also, what kind of jobs could you see yourself doing? Which this sounds a little weird, but and if you look at breakdown services, they'll often have, they'll talk about, I need young mom, or I need a cop. I need, you know, a likable cop who's a little overweight, that's female, or maybe male, whatever. So they'll often throw in the jobs. So what kind of job could you see yourself being easily cast as doing, or easily doing? You know, I would make a great school teacher, or I could be a really good air pilot control person, or there's just different things like that. So what would you do? And then the last thing you want to look at is your personality traits. So like, are you quirky? Are you serious? Are you intellectual, sexy, loud, innocent? What are the things that you just portray automatically? People look at you and they're like, oh yeah, you're really sexy. Or oh yes, you're very intellectual. Or you're a goofball. So there's usually certain aspects of our personality that are really big. So we want to look at those 5 things, okay? Your sex, your age range, your physicality, what jobs you could easily do, and what are your personality traits, okay? So you're going to look at those, and then you're going to like figure out other characters, or characters in films or movies that you watch that are like that. You can also ask other people, hey, you know, how do you see me? what kind of type of character do you see me playing? And it's good to ask both people that are into acting and people that are out of acting. Because some people that like watch a lot of TV, but they're not really into the acting world, they'll be like, oh, you're a shoo-in for the goofball friend next door. And so then you can look at that and go, okay, all right, great. And you can get some opinions and some ideas. All right, so you have that. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to watch TV too, and you're going to figure out things that you are, people and types that you are right for. All right, roles. You look at a role and like, could I have auditioned for that? Could I have been booked for that? Something to really ask yourself. And you start to see what your type is. Okay. So this gets you just on board with how to present yourself to get the most easily bookable things for you. Now, of course, we're not always going to play type. Eventually, once you get established, you're going to want to play against type. There's a lot of actors that do that. They'll be cast as the villain constantly, like Stanley Tucci. He's always cast as a villain. And then the story about him is he was always cast as a villain, like this diabolical bad guy, and he was tired of it. So what he did was he wrote and produced, or he got somebody to write this really cool movie called A Big Night, I think it's called, or The Big Night. It's about this big Italian dinner, and he plays this sweet Italian cook in it. And that changed his career because it showed people that he could play lovable, likable guys and not just the serial killer or the mob boss. And then he ended up playing, he was in Hunger Games. He played the announcer, if you remember that, and he's a sweet, laughable, nice guy in that. Affable, not laughable. He's a nice guy. So eventually you want to play against type if you can. But to get in the door, you got to kind of figure out what your type is. All right, so we've got that, and I have got this wonderful worksheet that I'm going to send out. I'm going to post it after we're done with this, and if you just sign up for our newsletter, you're going to get your own little worksheet to go through and fill this out and figure out your type, okay? And then you can start figuring out how to brand yourself, which next week we're going to be talking about branding. How do you brand yourself? What do you do to get yourself out there to brand, to find out, to get more jobs? Okay, but so let's go a little bit deeper with type. So if you figure out what your type is, and then if you're like, you know, say you're a beautiful girl and you're a perfect type for a leading lady or the girl next door or something like that, but you're not quite in the shape that you want to be in to do that. Or say you're a handsome guy and you could play the reluctant hero, you could play the leading man, you could play the jock, but maybe you got like a couple extra pounds to lose, or you want to get in a little bit better shape to do that. So we need to look at ourselves realistically and say, this is my type, but is there anything that is holding me back from really being this type? Because some of us are just types. Some of us are character types. Some of us are kind of goofy, and some of us are kind of play the best friend role really great. Some of us are cut out though for leading ladies or leading men, or for if you're good looking, or if you have certain aspects about your personality that are really sparkly, but yet there's things that are holding you back. You might want to look at that. And last week we talked about appearance and about being the best you that you can be. So if you want to look at that blog, you can go back to our website, actorsinactionclass.com, and look it up. It was called The Wait. I can't remember the rest of it. The Wait. Does how you feel about your appearance hold you back? So look at that, because we want to be the best we can be. I think about Chris Pratt. So Chris Pratt, you know, he's working so much now, and he's so hilarious, and he's so great. And he was on Arrested Development, I believe it was, and he's so funny, he's so great. And then he was going for more leading roles, and they were like, you need to work out a little bit and get in a little bit better shape to play these leading roles. And he made that choice of doing that so that he could be cast in those. And I know there's a big, huge thing in Hollywood. It's like, you know, women have to be super skinny and men have to be super buff, and it's a bunch of crap, really. But there are some realities that there's certain roles that's what they want you to look like. So look at yourself, you know, and see what really are you, and see how you can help portray that even more. Okay, either by dressing differently, working out more, watching what you eat, eating more. Maybe you're like, you look better, a little overweight, and that's awesome. Just figure it out. Find that sweet spot. All right. Okay, cool. So that's actually all the time we have for today. I like to keep these short, about 10 minutes long. Let me know if you have any questions. I would love to hear about it. And I'm going to be posting this little worksheet for you, so you can look that up and figure out exactly how to pin down what type you are. And last week we had an assignment. Last week we talked about if you hold yourself back and why. So I'm wondering if anybody thought about this week and how we use excuses like I don't look good enough, my nose is weird or whatever. Did you think about that? And did you come up with any of the deep, dark secrets of why you might be holding yourself back? I'd love to hear about that. I'm going to be doing a blog on that later on about how to get through your emotional blocks with stuff like that. So that's really cool. Yeah, so this week I want you to go ahead and look at our worksheet, fill it out, figure out what your going to be, what your best type is. And then next week we're going to take a step further and we're going to talk about branding, how to brand yourself. So I'm super excited. Thank you for joining us here on Acting from All Angles. If you want to hear any certain topics, please let us know. I am more than happy to discuss different things that you want to learn. All right, over and out. Have a fantastic week. Look for that wonderful little worksheet, and we will see you next week for Acting from All Angles. All right, bye-bye.